you're playing offense and defense. That's right. You want to be playing offense and defense. I'll use myself as an example. I have 8 short-term rental properties. If I could have 16, if I could just give more time to it, then that's when you have to make that decision. I didn't quit my job, and that's why I'm winning. That's right. I'm here to tell you, keeping your job as you get your side hustle is the biggest cheat code out there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. On this channel, we talk about my path to financial freedom and some of the plays that you can actually run to get yourself to financial freedom. I also show you guys the lifestyle, because I'm not one of these YouTube guys that are out here just capping, saying that I'm doing these things. I'm actually living a life, and I'm showing you how you can have your 9-to-5 job and live a great life. So let's get into the video. I didn't quit my job. I kept my job. These are the 3 reasons why I'm still winning. The first reason why is when you quit your job, it's 10 times harder for you to fund any type of investment you want to do. There's paths out here to get money. There's a lot of gurus out here showing people how to get their credit repaired so they could get these loans. The truth of the matter is those lanes do exist. But what I'm saying is the easiest way to get any type of financial help, whether it be a loan, a mortgage, is to have a W-2 job, period. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. You have more flexibility with a W-2 job than anybody else. If you're self-employed, the criteria for getting loans is higher. It's higher because they don't know if your business is gonna continue to thrive. What they think for W-2 employees, they're like, this guy's gonna go to work. You know, he has bills to pay. We will lend him money. So yes, you can get loans being self-employed, but the criteria is so much higher. Now, all of the criteria, you have to have decent credit, but you can actually have worse credit if you have W-2 income. And that is a fact. So that is the number one thing. You're gonna wanna, if you're on your path to financial freedom and you wanna be self-employed, if you're not acquiring assets along the way, then you're just running on the treadmill. Period. I don't care what your play is. My play is short-term rentals. Even within those short-term rentals, I have to be acquiring assets. Some of the short-term rentals that I have, I don't own. Those are arbitrage. But in between those, I'm buying properties that I actually own. So if you're running a play and you're creating income, no matter what income you're doing, no matter how you're creating the income, you still have to find ways to buy assets. Assets are the way. And if you have a W-2 job, it's the #1 way to get those loans from the bank. There is other ways, but they're way harder. The second reason is you reduce your risk. That's right. I mean, anytime you go out and have a job where you're 100% in control, there's more risk. And yes, there is risk in your regular job, but my point is you are spreading out the risk. Of course there's gonna be a risk in the job. Of course you could get cut for your job. I've made videos about these companies that are cutting people's employment like Thanos, right? So that does happen out there. But why would you wanna be in a situation where 100% of the risk is all on you? And a lot of people don't even know until they get into it that they aren't even built for that. Some people aren't built for that level of pressure. When you work for yourself, you basically eat what you kill. Have you ever heard that term? Drop in the comments if you guys ever heard that term. Which means if you don't kill nothing, you don't eat. And killing, quote unquote, is an idiom for what you actually sell or do or something like that, right? So we're not talking about really killing. We're talking about what you actually do. I probably need to take that out because YouTube will probably strike that. But anyways, if you don't sell something, you don't eat, right? And so when you work for yourself, that's where the bar is. If you don't sell something or you don't provide a service to somebody, then you're not gonna eat. The pressure is 100% on you. If you have a job, the pressure is split. You don't have to feel like that there's so much pressure that if you don't make this sale, or if you don't provide this service, or if this person doesn't hire you, that you won't be able to pay your rent. When you quit your job, you put yourself in that situation instantly. Why would you want to put that level of pressure on yourself new in a business? You could find a play that you could run, a job or a side hustle that you can actually do while you still work. That's why I think it's so important to find these type of side hustles that you can actually do while you're still working. It is very important because it lessens the stress. Number 3 thing is you're playing offense and defense. That's right. You want to be playing offense and defense. And the great thing is when you're playing offense and defense, you move the needle faster. So what that means is you're going to get there quicker. If you have a solid job where you're making $5,000 a month and that $5,000 is covering all your bills, imagine what happens if your side hustle matches that. So now you got $10,000 a month. Now your side hustle is doing exactly what your job does. Now, a lot of people, when they get to that point, they quit. I advise you, don't quit. Don't quit. If it is not too much and if it's not prohibitive, and that's the last thing we'll talk about. If it's not prohibitive, you should continue to do both, because that way you're playing offense and defense. Because if something happens in your business or something goes wrong, you still have that monthly paycheck to pay your bills, and you don't want to be in a situation to where you can't pay your bills. So going back to what I said about being prohibitive, there is a point in everybody's journey that does run these plays the way I say, that you have to make a choice. And that point is when your job is preventing you from growing or scaling in your side hustle, right? So example could be, if you've gotten so good at your side hustle and you know that if you do double, right? So I'll use myself as an example. I have 8 short-term rental properties, right? And then I have some long-term rentals, but I got 8 short-term rentals. If I could have 16, if I could just give more time to it, then that's when you have to make that decision. That's when you make that decision. If you know you could do 16 if you just had more time, and you don't have more time because your job is standing in the way, then that's when you make that decision. But until you get to that point where it's prohibitive for your growth, then you don't have to make that decision. You just keep doing both. You keep doing your side hustle, and then you keep doing your main job. And those are the top 3 reasons why I didn't quit my job and I'm still winning. And if somebody's telling you that you got to quit your job to get the financial freedom, kick them to the curb, because you're putting pressure on yourself that you don't need to have. There's tons of people out there just like me who actually work a full-time demanding job, working 10, 11 hours a day, and also have a 6-figure side hustle on the side. And you could do it too. You could do what I'm doing with short-term rentals, and there's other things you could do. These aren't the only things. Just do your research and find out what works best for you. All right, that's the end of the video. If you guys like content like this and you want to continue to hear me talk about some of the things I'm doing to get to financial freedom, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and then please hit that like button, man. Hit the like button. Doesn't do anything. It doesn't hurt you guys, but it does so much for the channel and helps other people just like you who are on their path to financial freedom to see this content. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. Keep running those plays. This is the Playbook. Peace.